Terrifier has broken out into pop culture and become a phenomenon, and we are presumably a little over a year away from the release of Terrifier 4. But I ask you, what can we expect with some of what we've recently learned? Hey, what's up everybody? Nick here, and today I want to talk to you guys about Terrifier 4. Now, this isn't going to be your prototypical update video that you see people do on YouTube. So since the beginning of 2025, writer and director Damien Leone has spoke a few times about what we can expect from Terrifier 4. Now, Leone went viral a few months ago when he talked about how we can expect to get Art's backstory in the first 15 minutes of Terrifier 4. And that's one of the things that I have been wrestling with since hearing that, because I honestly don't know what to expect. See, what we know about Art the Clown is that he was a man in the first Terrifier film. But at the end of that movie, when he died and gets resurrected for Terrifier 2, his body is inhabited by a demon, so he is no longer mortal. So that kind of raises the question of, what was Art before he was immortal? Why was this person the way they were? There are a lot of things that fans have speculated about over the years, but I genuinely don't think any of us know what his backstory actually is, and why a demon would bring him back to life. It was just kind of weird. There's got to be some significance there. See, I've been of the belief since Terrifier 2 that he's got to be associated with Sienna's father somehow, because Sienna has become the focal point of this series. Of course, Art, really, because he's the antagonist, he's the killer clown that everybody loves, he's the one they're going to merchandise. But Sienna is the character that's supposed to be his foil. If you remember the end of Terrifier 2, she heals herself and comes out of hell to take Art the Clown down. A normal person wouldn't do that. And why are they connected in that way? Why is she his kryptonite? Furthermore, Leone has made sure to pepper in mentions of Sienna and Jonathan's father throughout the last two movies. And we even got to see him on screen in Terrifier 3 in a flashback. And it just really makes you start to wonder if there's a connection there with Art. See, I remember when Terrifier 2 first came out and we learned about what happened to Sienna and Jonathan's dad, I started to think, oh shit, is he Art? Did he just happen to snap and go on a killing spree and totally lose his mind? But then with Terrifier 3, I started to think, well no, that can't be it, because we actually got to see him in the flesh, and we got to see a little bit of his relationship with Sienna, and we also got to just learn more about their dynamic, and I just don't see that as a possibility. But I do think he's going to be tied to her father and her family somehow, and I genuinely don't know how. So that brings me to my next question, and this is something that I think a lot of us have thought about throughout our lives, maybe not on the level of Art the Clown and Terrifier, but just in general. Like, what kind of secrets do our parents have? What kind of things are they hiding? Everybody has skeletons in their closet, and it just makes you wonder, was her dad hiding something? See, we all have that moment in our lives where we realize, oh wow, I didn't know my parents as well as I thought I did. And even with what you learn, you're never going to know everything. And I just have to believe that with everything that Leone has teased with that family and the significance of Sienna, there's got to be a tie there to Art the Clown. Now, Leone hasn't outright said this, but it has been alluded to, and especially after the end of Terrifier 3, that Terrifier 4, there was going to be a part of that movie where Sienna goes to hell to get Gabby back. Because I don't believe Gabby's dead. I think she was just taken into hell. And for some people, that might be like, well, that's weird. We're really getting outlandish here. Sienna was actually already in hell at the end of Terrifier 2. Leone has explained that when she heals herself and comes back, that's hell. She is in hell. She was basically in the in-between. So she's already been there before. But what is it about Sienna? Why do her and Art have this connection? Why is she his foil? Why was she able to self-heal? Why was she able to bring herself back from hell? There are so many questions that I know Terrifier 4 is going to answer, and I am curious to find them out myself. And if you remember, by the end of Terrifier 3, Art is back to being a human again. He is no longer immortal. The demon that inhabited him is gone. So he is really just the resurrected serial killer, Art the Clown. But this is one of the coolest things about Terrifier, and I really don't think it gets talked about enough. Because it started off as just this random, no explanation, creepy clown that killed people. That's really all it was. It garnered a cult following and has blown up into a mainstream horror franchise at this point. And I don't mean mainstream in its content, because its content is definitely not mainstream. But the popularity, the third movie grossed almost $100 million worldwide. That's a big movie for an R-rated slasher. And writer and director Damien Leone has now built out this universe that has made us ask so many questions. And that's really why I wanted to make this video to you guys. Because if you didn't know that Leone said we're going to get his backstory, well, now you know. But I wanted to ask you, what do you think it is? Because as somebody that considers himself a Terrifier fan and loves these movies now and will be their day one for Terrifier 4, and I'm going to be eating up every morsel of information we get up until that point, I genuinely don't know. As I laid out in this video, there's got to be some significance with Sienna and Jonathan and their father. There has to be some kind of connection there. There's got to be reasons. You're not going to set all of this up and not answer it. But what are those answers? What are those reasons? And by learning these things, will they affect how we view Art the Clown in a negative way? See, I don't know. He's an enigma, and I love that he's an enigma, but at the same time, I'm kind of wanting answers at this point. You've teased me for 3 movies now. It's time to give me some of them. But I can't even begin to think of what they are. So I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. I want you guys to comment down below and tell me, what is Art's backstory here? What do you think it is? How do you think they are connected? Why is Sienna his foil? What is the significance with their dad? And I'm also going to go out on a limb. I said this months ago and I'm saying it again. I do not believe Jonathan is dead. I think that was a misdirect to try to get under Sienna's skin to basically make her give up and lose all hope so the demon could inhabit her body. But I don't believe he's dead. But that's the question I have for you guys today, because at this point, all we can do is speculate and pontificate, and that's what we're going to do in the comment section, so join me. Please make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm pulling out.